sick. You know what's crazy? We talk about anxiety like it's some broken part of us, like it's this glitch in the system. Sick. I have anxiety, like it's a stain on our character. But what if I told you anxiety isn't the enemy? It's actually trying to help. Sick. Seriously. Anxiety isn't a malfunction. It's a message. You know, people talk about anxiety like it's this monster we're supposed to defeat. A sick. Like it's something outside of us chasing us down, ruining our lives. But the truth is anxiety isn't the enemy. It's a messenger. It's your body and mind trying to get your attention, not to ruin your life, but to save it. Think about it. Anxiety doesn't show up for no reason. Sick. It comes when something inside of us feels unsafe, unheard, or overwhelmed. It's like this little alarm system. And instead of asking, a sick, what is this alarm trying to protect me from? But we panic and try to shut it off. But if your house was on fire, a sick, would you smash the smoke detector or would you look for the fire? That's what anxiety is. It's your system saying, hey, something's off. A sick, please don't ignore me. And yeah, it feels awful. The racing heart, the overthinking, a sick, the feeling like you're crawling out of your skin, none of that feels helpful. But when you slow down and actually sit with it, you realize anxiety is often tied to some deep part of you that just wants to feel safe again. It's not just stress or nerves, it's your nervous system doing its job maybe a little too well. So instead of hating it, try asking it, sick. What are you afraid of? What are you trying to protect me from? You'd be surprised at what comes up. Maybe it's fear of rejection, a sick. Maybe it's past trauma. Maybe it's just exhaustion from carrying too much for too long. Whatever it is, it's valid. A sick. Understanding that shifts everything. It gives you back your power because you're no longer fighting your anxiety. You're listening to it. Sick. You're learning from it. And when it feels heard, it starts to soften. Overcoming anxiety doesn't mean making it disappear forever. A sick. It means learning how to hold it without letting it control you. It means building trust with yourself. Knowing that even when anxiety shows up, a sick. You've got the tools, the awareness, and the self-compassion to deal with it. You're not weak for feeling it. Sick. You're wise for wanting to understand it. Because healing doesn't come from resistance. It comes from relationship. A sick. And the relationship you build with yourself, with your own mind, your own fear, that's what sets you free. A sick. It's funny how we think ignoring something will make it go away. Like if we just push anxiety down far enough, pretend it's not there. A sick. Distract ourselves with work or Netflix or scrolling. Somehow it'll magically disappear, but it doesn't. It actually does the opposite. Sick. The more we avoid it, the louder it gets. Anxiety is like a little kid tugging on your sleeve, trying to get your attention. At first, it's a gentle whisper. Hey, something's wrong. But when we keep turning away, it starts yelling. It doesn't do that to punish us. A sick. It does it because it's desperate to be heard. That tension in your chest, that racing heart, a sick. The constant overthinking, that's anxiety banging on the door, saying, please stop ignoring me. And yeah, I get it. Sick. Facing anxiety is terrifying. Sitting in silence with that wave of discomfort feels unbearable. So we run. We stay busy. We pretend we're fine. Sick. We tell ourselves, I don't have time to deal with this. But all that running, it just feeds it. A sick. Avoidance doesn't fix the fear. It feeds the fear. The reason it gets louder is because anxiety doesn't want to be silenced. Sick. It wants to be understood. It wants us to slow down and say, okay, I'm listening. What are you trying to tell me? That takes courage. A sick. Not because it's dramatic or complicated, but because it's uncomfortable. And most of us would rather do anything than sit with discomfort. Sick. But here's where the shift happens when we stop avoiding and start approaching. When we sit with that anxious thought instead of running from it. A sick. When we breathe instead of numbing out, that's when the volume starts to go down. Not right away and not all at once, but slowly, gently, a sick. Our nervous system starts to trust us again. Overcoming anxiety doesn't mean it never shows up. It means it stops running the show, a sick. And that starts with being willing to feel, willing to face what we've been avoiding, willing to be honest about what hurts, what scares us, sick, what we haven't processed yet. The more we listen, the less anxiety has to scream around a sick. And in that space where we stop running and start being present, we begin to realize we're stronger than we think. A sick. We're capable of handling what we feel, and we don't have to run anymore. Sick. Anxiety has this way of pulling you out of your life and dropping you into a movie that hasn't even started yet. A sick. It's all about the what ifs. What if I mess up? What if they leave? What if everything falls apart? A sick. It lives in this imaginary world where disaster is always waiting just around the corner. And the worst part, we believe it. We let these stories take over our bodies, our minds, and our peace. But here's the thing, none of that is real. A sick. Anxiety isn't about what's happening right now. It's about what might happen later. A sick. It's our brain trying to prepare for pain that hasn't even come. And yeah, it means well, it's trying to protect us. But in doing that, sick. It steals the present. It takes us away from the only place where life is actually happening, right here, right now. Sick. You can't breathe in the future. You can't love, laugh, cry, or grow in the future. You can only do that in this moment. A sick. But anxiety makes us feel like we have to be 10 steps ahead, like we need to solve problems that haven't even shown up yet. Sick. And that kind of pressure. It's exhausting. Healing doesn't come from solving all your future problems. It comes from realizing that right now, sick. In this second, you're okay. Maybe not perfect, maybe not where you want to be, but safe, alive, breathing. And that's enough. A sick. That's where healing begins. And no, it's not always easy to stay present. Your mind will want to run. Sick. It'll want to replay the past or fear the future. A sick. But every time you catch yourself drifting and gently pull yourself back to the moment, to your breath, to the feel of your feet on the ground, to the sound of your heartbeat, you're taking your power back. You're reminding yourself that you don't have to control everything. A sick. You just have to be here. The present doesn't demand that you have it all figured out. It just asks you to show up, to feel, to breathe. And slowly, a sick. You start to realize you can handle this moment. And if you can handle this one, maybe you can handle the next. Sick. And maybe that's what healing really is, one brave present moment at a time. There's this weird pressure in the world to always be okay. Like a sick. We're supposed to smile through pain, post perfect photos, and say, I'm fine, even when we're barely holding it together. And somehow, sick. We've started believing that being real, being honest about our pain, makes us weak or dramatic. But it doesn't. It makes us human. A sick. You don't have to pretend you're okay when you're not. You don't have to slap on a fake smile just to make other people comfortable. A sick. The truth is, the more we hide our pain, the heavier it gets. We end up carrying this invisible weight on our chest, hoping no one notices how much we're struggling. But deep down, we're just craving someone to say, it's okay to not be okay. And let's be real, it takes way more strength to say, I'm not doing great right now, than to pretend everything's perfect. Sick. Honesty is not weakness. It's courage. It's saying, this is what's real for me right now. Sick. And I'm not going to bury it just to make it prettier. The truth is, pretending doesn't heal us. It delays healing. Sick. Because when we keep acting like everything's fine, we block the very support we need. We isolate ourselves. A sick. We create this image of strength that people admire, but no one really knows what's going on underneath. A sick. And then healing becomes this lonely thing we try to do in secret. But what if you let the mask slip? Just a little. Sick. What if you gave yourself permission to cry, to rest, to ask for help? A sick. What if you stopped apologizing for your emotions and started honoring them instead? Overcoming pain doesn't mean pretending it doesn't exist. A sick. It means letting it be seen, letting it breathe, letting yourself be exactly where you are, even if that place is messy or painful or confusing. A sick. Because when you give yourself space to not be okay, you actually start to heal. You're not a burden for feeling deeply. You're not too much. A sick. You're not broken. You're just a person doing their best navigating a storm. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply say, sick. I need a moment. I need support. I'm not okay today. And that's more than enough. Sick. We grow up thinking we're supposed to have it all together. That being strong means doing everything on our own, keeping our struggles hidden, sick, and powering through no matter how heavy things get. But the truth is that kind of strength, it's not real. It's survival. And survival isn't the same as healing. Somewhere along the line, we started believing that asking for help makes us weak, sick. Like admitting we're not okay means we failed. But that couldn't be further from the truth, sick. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's one of the bravest things you can do. It takes courage to say, sick. I can't do this alone. It takes strength to let someone in when every part of you wants to shut the world out. Because let's be honest, opening up is scary. It means being vulnerable. It means being seen in your pain, your confusion, your fear. And that's hard. But you know what's harder? Carrying it all by yourself. Pretending you're fine when you're falling apart inside. Smiling when all you want to do is cry. We weren't meant to do life alone. No one is. Every single human being needs connection. We need support, sick, love, guidance. And needing that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. There's so much power in reaching out to a friend, a therapist, sick, a family member, and saying, hey, I need help. Not because you're broken. Not because you've given up, sick. But because you love yourself enough to stop suffering in silence, overcoming anxiety, pain, sick, or anything heavy doesn't mean muscling through it alone. It means being honest enough to let someone sit with you in it, sick. Sometimes healing starts in that one conversation, that one brave text, that one moment where you let the wall down even just a little. And listen, asking for help doesn't mean you're helpless. It means you're wise enough to know your limits. Sick. It means you care about your own well-being. And that's something to be proud of, not ashamed of. You don't have to have it all figured out. Sick. You just have to be willing to say, I can't do this by myself anymore. That's not weakness. That's growth. That's strength. Sick. That's the beginning of healing. It's so easy to start believing that anxiety is who you are, like it defines you. You have a panic attack, sick, and suddenly you're or an anxious person. You feel overwhelmed one day, and now it's your identity. But here's the truth. Sick. You are not your anxiety. It's something you experience, not something you are. We don't do this with other things, right? If you have a cold, you don't walk around saying, I am the flu. But when it comes to mental health, we take our pain and we wear it like a name tag. Sick. And it makes sense. We live in a world that doesn't really pause to help us separate ourselves from what we feel. But the thing is, anxiety is just a part of your human experience. It's not the whole of you. There's a part of you that watches it, that feels it coming and says, oh, here it is again. That quiet little awareness, that's you. That's your truth. And that part is calm, steady, kind, and strong. Even when your mind is in chaos, anxiety might scream at you. It might try to convince you that you're unsafe, unloved, or not enough. But underneath all that noise, you're still here, still breathing, still capable of peace. That voice in your head is loud, sick, but it's not the only voice. You've got one underneath it, a softer one, a wiser one. And learning to listen to that one changes everything. Overcoming anxiety isn't about destroying it. It's about remembering who you are beneath it. Because when you stop identifying with the fear, you start taking your power back. Sick. You begin to see yourself not as a broken version of something, but as a whole human who happens to struggle sometimes. And that's okay. Sick. There's so much more to you than the thoughts in your head. You are your kindness, your resilience, your weird sense of humor, your curiosity, sick. Your ability to keep going even when it's hard. That's the real you. The rest, the anxiety, the fear, the panic, it's just passing weather. Sick. You are the sky that holds it. And once you really understand that, the anxiety loses its grip. Because now it's not the narrator of your life. Sick. It's just background noise, and you are the one holding the pen.